Korey was one of the first recruits that I ever did meet coming to Boise State. He was like a 4.0 student in high school. And then we get to Boise State and he becomes a construction management major. So he was just this total package of the student athlete.
To have somebody come from a rural part of our state, come to Boise State and succeed in both not only his degree, but also athletics is really inspirational and something that I think is just part of the Bronco story.
I grew up in a small town, Glenns Ferry, Idaho, and grew up on a small little farm there. Kind of throughout my high school career, got pretty good at football, and then had the opportunity to get a scholarship. When I first got to Boise, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to major in. I grew up kind of working outdoors, and was always kind of fascinated with building things.
I remember him studying one day in the football facility and walking by, and he's got a book open and it's all these numbers and calculations, and I barely know my times tables, and Korey's going through these formulas.
Korey's story has so much about resilience in it. He's such an inspiration to other student athletes to look at a successful career in terms of his playing football here at Boise State, achieving so much in that time, and then moving on to an NFL career. But then really taking what he learned, that resilience, that ability to work on a team, to be a team player, hard work pays off, and transforming himself back into the construction industry is really inspirational to those students who look at, where is my path after collegiate athletics? Do I go into a professional space? What degrees am I getting and how do I use them? And that's why I think it's really important that we honor people like him with the Distinguished Alumni Award, because in many ways it's a story that many of our students are looking for examples of.
I always wanted to be back in the mid-Northwest. I really like the mountains and really like Idaho. It's really hard after coming from the NFL and you're making good money, and then you start this job and you kind of are starting your career over at that point, because I was removed from it for so long. I think what college, at least what it taught me, is how to be accountable and how to learn. I think is probably what I took from my time at Boise State is, even if you don't understand something, just you have the tools to, all right, let's figure out the problem and let's figure out how to solve it.
The talent levels, your floor, and your characters, the ceiling, and the character that this young man at the time brought to our team and our program in Boise State was off the charts. He epitomizes not only what Boise State really is all about, like he is the highest level of that student athlete.
I think Korey exemplifies a lot of those Bronco values that we have here at Boise State, and our students really look up to role models like him. And I'm so thrilled that he allowed us to give him this honor and to be featured and to really allow others to know his outstanding story of success from Glenns Ferry all the way to the NFL and back to Boise to grow Boise.
It's an amazing honor. Part of me, just all the people that I know that have graduated from Boise State and what they've done and accomplished. It's like, well, I could think of 5 people right now that should probably be sitting up here besides me, but I'm super honored and I love Boise State.